at you with another dinner and discussion. Luckily, we do not put these out once a week. That's the goal one day, but I have been editing them kind of slow. So eventually they'll be a weekly occurrence, but since they're not, you'll barely notice that we missed a week in between because we were at Disney World. It'll just seem like another video to you, not a nightly Friday ritual.
No, I have. How will we know? How will we know?
So, today, while Gabe picks a topic, because I can't remember who picked the topic last, I made grilled cheeses with tomato-ish soup. So yesterday, Gabe and I had cheese raviolis from Better Goods, which I highly recommend Better Goods. Gabe and I have been trying out their products. They're a Walmart brand, but they're really good. They're a little bit of a as healthy as you can get, I guess, in terms sometimes of mass-produced food. And then we've been trying their different pasta sauces. So yesterday was like a creamy vodka, what was a large jar. And I was like, well, we're gonna have some of this left over. I don't want it to go to waste. You have to eat it within 3 days of opening. So I put a little milk in it to thin it out and to make it a little bit creamier. And then I made tomato soup. So what goes best with tomato soup?
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese. So we have grilled cheese and tomato soup for dinner today. And we will be talking about...
Oh, wrong way. Gabe's choice.
My favorite.
I think I choose the best things. So this was what, like any topic
Any topic you want to discuss, babe. Any topic.
Only thing that comes to mind right now are video games.
Video games, okay.
Video games. So, I guess I'll start. So yeah, video games, with that one, I've been playing video games for a long time. My dad he played video games early on. He was at the arcades, you get in trouble for spending too much money at the arcades. And then eventually once consoles started coming out, he would get them. Especially he started playing a little bit before I was born, more again. And then I started playing maybe when I was like 5 or 6. You know what I mean? And even then I wasn't really playing sometimes because he gave me the remote and it looked like I was playing as it would be plugged in. But he'd be playing. And eventually I got my own console, like my own Game Boy and GameCube, so that's gonna date us. And then 64.
Growing old rocks. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about getting older, because there are some people that don't get that privilege. Sorry, continue.
So I've been playing. I played a lot through elementary, high school, stopped at college because I was just doing too many things. And then picked it up again with the pandemic happened around again because we're all trapped inside. So that's how long I've been playing video games. My games I've played have been all over the place. I think I've picked up almost every kind of game. I'm just now getting into the thought of playing PC games. So I've been a console player from Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Sega, all the different ones since then. What's your experience with video games? Quite the journey, babe. I'm still plan on playing.
Gabe and I like to joke, how I'll open this is Gabe and I like to joke that, and maybe it's because we're both from divorced parents, but
I already know where this is going.
We like to joke that you either had a family or you got a Wii. Maybe it's not accurate. Maybe there are people that get parents and a Wii.
I'm just playing Just Dance, so my parents are arguing.
But for the case of our household, when our parents got divorced, we got the Wii. So I would say my first console that I have experience with was the Wii. Well, that I remember having strong memories of is the Wii. We would get the river jump game, where we had those mats, or the Dance Dance Revolution games. there's a couple of times in my memory that I remember, like, you know, those, I don't know what they're called, but so the version I had was SpongeBob, and his nose was the joystick, and you plugged it into your TV, like literally like the red and yellow cables of the TV, which I think like flat screens, they're all the way in the back, like, but like the old TVs used to have them like right in the front. I wish that game survived because I would love to play it. Like, I love our kids to be able to play it. We ended up breaking off the nose of SpongeBob because I'm in a very competitive family, and we just went too hard one day. But essentially, like, the joystick, you just had to jump on jellyfish, and it was a very easy game. But I remember that. I do remember having a PlayStation, like, I think it was the PlayStation.
Was it gray?
The first, yeah.
Yeah, it's PlayStation 1.
Yeah, and I played Crash
Bandicoot?
Bandicoot. That's like the Fox thing, right? That like
it spins
yes.
and knocks boxes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember playing that game. So I guess I did have consoles growing up, but like my sister and I were very active in sports. Like my mom threw us in so many sports. Like cue Gizmo licking up water right now, but so we like didn't really have a lot of time for activities. Like I said, the Wii came in when they were like trying to distract us from marital problems in the home, or like to try to bond. Like, I'm sorry if I'm ruining this for any kids in advance, but like my mom would be like, "Oh, the Wii is from Santa," and then the family got games for the Wii because like, you know, they coordinated. And they want us to all spend time together as a family. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, they want us to spend time as a family fighting. Cool. No, the Wii was a lot of fun. We'd play Just Dance a lot. And then after that, I really didn't play a lot of consoles or anything. My friends had video games. So, like, we would have, like, the DS. And we would like trade games, and then my one friend had a PlayStation 2, and that's when I got hooked on The Sims. I played Sims 2, best game ever. Probably really shitty graphics, but I had a great time. That's where I was introduced to Paramore, because Decode would come on the radio when you click alternative before like the licensing stuff probably hit, but such a great game. And then yeah, I really wasn't into it until the pandemic. And it's funny, when I got back into it, I think I started to realize I had ADHD. And you know, like when you like lock in on a
hyperfocus
on a task or a hobby, dude, that I think was the first time that I noticed Gabe was ever visibly angry at me in our relationship. I don't have very many memories of Gabe ever getting upset at me, because Gabe, if you've ever met him, is a very chill dude, very laid back. But when we moved to Texas together in the pandemic, we bought the Switch because we were going to spend a lot of time at home. We're both very competitive people. Which is so funny. Like Gabe and I, like I think make a very strong team against the world. Like we will crush anybody. But when we play games together, we are ruthless. Like the amount of times that Gabe steals my star in Mario Party, too damn high. Too damn high. And the thing is I was raised to be a sore loser practically. Like I do not win well. I do not lose well. Hopefully our future children will take after Gabe's temperament, because my mom only ever taught us to win. If we weren't going to win, it wasn't worth playing half the time. And let me tell you, life has a way of humbling you, because I was a winner and then I married Gabe and now I'm a loser. Gabe crushes me often. Now, it's not fair. He's got computer fingers, so his dexterity is out of this world. So, like, it's really not cool. But, yeah, he kicks my butt all the time. We play co-op games, and you ever see those memes of the couple where, like, the one video game, typically the husband, is able to jump on the rotating fan on the first jump, and then he waits for his wife to then fall 17 million times to then jump. It's so funny that we have this topic, and I'm sorry I'm going on a huge rant, and Gabe can take over in a little bit, but I was talking to my coworkers literally about video games today and how Gabe and I bought this like $4 game called Moving Out because I'm like, oh, this looks so easy. It's a co-op game. Like we did co-op. We did Luigi's Mansion 2.
Really incredible.
3. And we've done 3 Lego games together, right? We did Harry Potter, part of Star Wars because the Star Wars one is freaking huge.
Just very long.
And then Lego Incredibles. Like we love the Lego games. We love co-op games. We're like, this is going to be great. Like crushed it. So much fun. We get this Moving Out game, $4. If you ever played Overcooked, the designers of Overcooked made this game Moving Out. I'm positive. I haven't looked up. I don't know if that's true or not, but they look identical. And Gabe and I were like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. The concept is very simple. You get these random sized houses and you have to move them out. You have to pick up the furniture they want to. You got to put it in the bin. You're timed. Sometimes there's animals biting you. Sometimes you can't break furniture. Absolute chaos. Gabe and I were absolutely horrible at it. Took us several levels to get to move on. And like the perfectionist in us is we have to have 3 stars. 3 stars or no stars. And so we constantly have to go back and like get the stars. But I realized actually as I'm telling this story, I glossed over the fact of when Gabe got mad at me. And that was the introduction of Animal Crossing. The love for the cozy game. Gabe had to practically pry that game out of my cold, dead hands because it was the pandemic. I was working a remote job. I was super bored. I had all this free time. And so I played that game from like sun up to sundown. And Gabe was like, this has to stop. This is getting out of control. This is not okay. Where is Alexis? And I of course was really upset that he said that because I was like, I'm living my best life in Animal Crossing, giving all my money to Tom Nook, which again, Gabe then hopped on the game, completed the collection before me, got way more bells than I could have ever gotten, crushed the game, and then I'm like, okay, you're right, I don't want to play this anymore. But long story short, Gabe and I play the Switch. I play the Switch a lot. The Switch is mine. I got Disney Dreamlight Valley. I'm a cozy gamer. And then Gabe plays on his PlayStation the most. And then we both have kind of dabbled with Steam and PC gaming in the future. I stream Sims 4 on Fridays and Mondays. Gabe is playing some computer simulator Pokemon. So we are dabbles. We're dabbling now into games heavy. Sorry, I talk so much. You should really cut me off. You should just...
That's okay. I love hearing you go on about video games because Lex was not like she said, not a video game person. And so I think us getting the co-op games was another dynamic to our relationship because it's another way for us to play together and have fun together and, experience games that come out. We want to play them together. You know what I mean? Like the Mario parties, like we played those to a point where like we unlocked everything. You know what I mean? Like it was a lot of fun. Like I think it's just another way for us. Probably won't play Moving Out a game again, which we should have known because Alex and I didn't really play what was the cooking one?
No, we liked Overcooked.
You didn't get very far in Overcooked. We did better.
Well, yeah, because it's hard. Have you guys ever tried to throw the sardines across the moving platform while you're going? And then the thing is I like a routine. So when Gabe gives me simple tasks, I'm like, okay, I can focus on these tasks. There are Overcooked levels where the kitchen changes. So you're in one kitchen and then suddenly the thing moves and now you're doing the other tasks. And I'm like, Gabe, I can't keep up with the changes. One day I'll get better. I promise.
No, I think video games, like in general, are a lot of fun. I will say there is always, the negatives. People I remember growing up and hearing all the negatives when it comes to video games. You know what I mean? Like for some people, you know what I mean? Like if you're on video games 24/7, that's all you do. You know what I mean? Like if that's your hobby to de-stress, for a lot of people, that's what that is. You know what I mean? That's why people play a lot of video games is to enter a new world, play a new game, be a character, be the hero, you know what I mean? Play with your friends, which I love doing because a lot of my close friends are across the country now. And so by playing video games, it's a great way for all of us to connect. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're not even like playing the game. We're more just talking to each other. But we literally make Uno the most ruthless game ever while we're all just catching each other up on life.
Cutthroat.
It's hilarious to play. And we'll play like Overcooked together. We'll play like the Battlefields, the Call of Duties, all of the Rocket League, all the different games to like have a way for us to play together. And we'll all be trash because we're all doing 1,000 other things. We're not playing as much. So whenever we play, we get cooked very fast. I remember when Warzone came out for the first time, we were so bad, and because we just didn't play anymore, that it took us like months for us all four of us to be together and get an actual win.
Yeah,
and it was like it was celebrated. It was insane. We pulled it off, but it's stuff like that. I think video games have a good and a positive, and they bring great communities together and great people together. I think video games have their negative effect when, like I said, it takes over people's lives where they can't really do anything else. You know, people can't get addicted to them. People can't get into them. And I think video games can become a problem when your aggression is unchecked when you play video games. The amount of older videos I would see of people like back in the day, like destroying keyboards, destroying controllers, not destroying a Wii controller because you didn't put your strap on and threw it, not that, but like actually getting angry and throwing things or punching their TV or screens. Like I'll get like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'll get mad and be like, I lost, or like, come on, my teammate's not doing X, Y, and Z, we're losing. But I'm not gonna like scream or get angry or just like lose my mind. It's kind of the same thing when I see people like who watch sports, maybe it was a hot take, who like their entire day is impeded because their team lost. I'm like, you're not on the team. You're not an owner or part of the team. This is not your business. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the difference? So like people get the same kind of angry to that. I think that's when video games become a problem. When I'm hearing people like curse out other folks and like slam things, I'm like, okay, you have a bit of unchecked rage. And people who play like, I get angry and I hear banging stuff. I was like, video games are cheap no more. I was like, a controller is like almost $100. Mm-hmm. I was like, if you have the money to be blowing getting new controllers after you break them or new keyboards, then power to you. But
for some reason, I thought you were gonna go in the direction when you mentioned violent. I thought you were like one of the biggest things too. Like, and I don't experience this much on my cozy games. Again,
violent games,
cozy, but like the chat. Oh my gosh, some of these people, what they name themselves.
Oh, she's talking about
what they say to each other. Yeah. Like, it is ruthless out here.
Still never experienced.
And I haven't even like been on the mic. Like, I remember like when Gabe and I first started dating, and I literally had to kind of like make this rule because like, when you're if you've been to college, like when you go to college and you have roommates, or typically anytime you're in a roommate situation, not just in college. That was just when I had roommates. But it's like, our bedroom was like also your living room, also it was like, your catch-all room because you like didn't want to necessarily disturb your roommates in the common spaces. And so like I would always come home from class and Gabe would be like playing games with his friends. Like you said, that's how a lot of guys maintain their friendships, is through video games because of like online forums and like playing the same game and parties and all that stuff. And that's super awesome because I think men do deserve more spaces to like kind of be goofy together. But dang, do people take it too far. Especially when they lose, or like if they're mad because one player like kill shot them in the head or something, and the next thing you know, they're like bringing their mama into it. And I'm like, this is absolutely redonkulous. And I've heard it. It doesn't happen as much in his games now. The verbal, I see like what they write in Marvel Rivals, but I never hear it anymore. But like when you were playing, I think it was Call of Duty, and in the lobby, and they would just start like going after each other, like, and these kids like are like 13, like they are like young teenagers. And then on the opposite spectrum, some of them are like 47, like screaming at children, and I'm like, Dude, this is like unhealthy.
It's
Like,
actually what she caught is the calmer version. When Call of Duty, you remember, if you who are watch, remember the, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, older Call of Duty games when they first started coming out. Some of these lobbies, that is calm, what she's mentioning. Let me tell you, the amount of slurs
Yeah, that's true.
and cursing and like just your mama and all these different things. Like people, I remember my high school friends, we would just get into lobbies and like we would just try to rile up people at that point because we would just all laugh so hard because we were just trying to rile people up, and then we would play, and then we would still, even if we lost, we would rile like right back at them, and just to like,
yeah, a bunch of instigators. Gabe's friends are all of them, just troublemakers.
so.
But I would say in a different direction of video games, something that Gabe and I both experience and both irritate us are them damn microtransactions. Can we talk about them? Can we talk about how these hobbies that used to cost like $15.99 for a video game? Why do you make that face?
I don't remember a game being $15.99.
Yeah, like when they first came out, like they were in the teens. Or maybe even they are $19.99 or whatever. Yes, they were. Don't be shaking your head. I know these existed. I know somewhere. But like now, not only are base games like $50 to $75, depending on like what game you buy, but then you also have DLCs, which is downloadable content, right? Look at me using freaking video game lingo up in here. DLCs, which are additional content, like Dreamlight Valley, I'll use as an example. I love Disney. I give money to the mouse quite often. But the caveat for Disney Dreamlight Valley is that it was going to be down the line. It was going to be a free game. So like people paid to like have access to it, and then they were going to give you free updates, and it was just good. It was going to be free after like a year and a half of like paid content. Well, now they're taking that back. They're like, it's not going to be free. It's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you money for each console you want to pay. Now you can use the same account across consoles, but you have to own it on that console. So like if I wanted to play PC, I wouldn't be able to play it until I get it, which I own it on Nintendo Switch, which I think is kind of jankety to pay a whole nother full game price to have it on a different console. Like, I don't know, jankety, like I said. And then you have downloadable content, which some people give for free, like it's a little update. Nope, that's another $30 to $40 for some things. Like, was your Assassin's Creed download DLC extra money?
Yeah, every DLC usually for like those kind of games is more money.
Okay, see, new to the game, rip off. DLC is extra money. And then on top of that, then you get inside the game. And I know Gabe gets upset with a specific reason of microtransactions, and he'll talk about that. But for me, I get upset with cozy games because they do collections. So like you want to collect all the furniture, you want to collect all the fruit, the people, all the things. Well, then they start putting microtransactions in there where you can't complete a collection unless you pay a special in-game currency, which in Disney Dreamlight Valley, it's called Moonstones. Now, when you buy the game, you get a set number of Moonstones. You get 50 Moonstones a day in your game. But then these prices are like 3,000 Moonstones, 1,500 Moonstones. Oh, you want an extra star path, which is how they like it's an item task part of the game. 2,000 Moonstones. And so next thing you know, like you're having to pay for these Moonstones. Guess what? You get 100 Moonstones and it's like $4.99. Tell me what I'm supposed to do with that, Susan. Sorry if there's any Susans out there. That was just the first name that popped in my head. But like it's just getting a little ridiculous. Like when does it stop? When does it stop, Gabriel?
When people stop buying it.
So never. Okay, cool. Glad we had that discussion. So Gabe, how do you feel about microtransactions?
For DLC and microtransactions, I think DLCs are cool and valid when the game is fully complete and done when it's released. And so, for example, Last Assassin's Creed, those are my favorite, one of my favorite storylines and favorite games to play. I've played every single one of them. they will typically release the full game. You play it from start to end. It has the finish. It has the ending. There are no updates. There's no trying to figure it out. And then DLCs are like cool ideas that weren't part of the game, or like mini sequels to the story, or like little things. Like my favorite one ever, DLC for Assassin's Creed, was Assassin's Creed 3 when you're playing as Connor, and it's during the Revolutionary War. There's essentially, you play it as if there's a DLC where George Washington doesn't become a president and is for democracy. He actually becomes like King George and becomes a tyrant in the United States. And essentially you have to fight and take him down because he got drunk with power when he was general. And so I thought that was like, that's a cool, I was like, oh, that's a cool, like, I paid extra money to play that. You got new powers, you know what I mean? It's a whole different thing. Like, it's a small game based off, you know what I mean? Like, that's fine. DLCs like those, I always appreciate them because it's the developers being like, we couldn't fit it. It wouldn't be part of the main story, but we think it'd be a cool addition for you to play. Yeah. And when I played like the Assassin's Creed for the Odyssey, the one after Valhalla, you know what I mean? There was a part.
Oh crap! That's the one I was thinking of. I was thinking the Viking
one. Valhalla, you know what I mean? Like, you finish the game, but like, great, now you can play a DLC where you were like playing with more of the gods, and with Odin and Loki, and all that kind of stuff. Cool. Now microtransactions are the bane, I think, of everything. The only time I think a microtransaction or in-game stuff should be paid for is for cosmetics. Purely cosmetics. So like, it has zero impact on your gameplay. People will not be better because they spent money getting things. And I think another thing with like star paths or battle pass, stuff like that, it's only okay with like cosmetics and like things to just add to your character to make you look cooler, or have like funny emotes or sprays or stuff like that, you know what I mean? But like, there's some battle passes in some games where if you paid money, you were able to speed track that and get actual weapons or items that made it easier for you to play. One big thing that came out, and this is how my example I just told Lex was when Battlefront came out, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was the battle pass, or the version of a battle pass, where if you played microtransactions, you would go through it faster and you would get characters and items that were stronger than the regular ones you can play as defaulted. So essentially, people are paying to have better weapons and characters and win the game.
So it's no longer about skill and fun. It's about
exactly
who has more money or who has access to their parents' wallets, like those kids do in Fortnite, and they be buying all. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if this was you? I'm sorry, you probably don't have to imagine, but like your child is so deep in the Fortnite craze that happened. Like, I remember that, like, in college, freshman year, like, everyone just go each other's dorm rooms to watch two guys play Fortnite together, and that would be like everyone's Friday night. And I was like, I don't get the hype. But again, I'm not very good at video games, so when it comes to competition, like, I'm not it. Do not pick me for your team, because I will lose. Unless it's Mario Party. I take Mario Party seriously. Not saying I'm any better at Mario Party, but I take it more seriously, so I put a little bit more effort into it. But yeah, you hear those stories that the kids like spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
For NBA.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up because I didn't know if you wanted to bring it up. But like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what these kids be doing. What these kids be doing on the internet. Playing the games, stealing the parents' money, and then yelling at each other in profanities and slurs. Wild. It's a wild game out there.
100%. I will say, I don't know how long I've been talking for. I cannot really see the time ever from here.
We're good.
But I will say, like, maybe like a closing thing, or just like a regular thing with video games. Video games are, I think, for a lot of people, a great opportunity to escape, have a break, have some pause, enjoy things that people want to enjoy. And I think a bad flack that video games get a lot is that if someone hears you play video games, they think you're childish. They think you're immature. They think that, they have more of a negative opinion than your positive opinion on you. And maybe that was back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, you would hear parents like, "Oh, you can't make money. You can't get a job with video games." That's what I heard growing up. But now there are legitimate leagues of people who are trained to be professional video game players, streamers. Good chunk of them are people who play video games. And some of them are funny. They're funny to watch, and they're bad at video games. And some are really good, and you watch them play video games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think video games has definitely evolved in our culture, and I think they don't deserve sometimes the much flack that they get. Now, again, if you spend every waking hour when you have responsibilities and other things to do, and you should be focusing on anything else, if you're playing video games to escape your problems instead of trying to just relax and de-stress or connect with others or just talk with people, that's when I think it should appropriately, it gets the flack that it does. You know what I mean? If you have 1,000 things to do, if you have family, you know what I mean? Like if you gotta do this, you gotta do that, your grades are slipping, you know what I mean? It all has its place with like any hobby, with any experience. You know, too much could be a bad thing, but it has a immense opportunity. And I think I've seen it too, where it actually helps with like hand-eye, like kind of coordination and like understanding things. And a lot of those games are like complex. There's puzzles, there's a lot of things. I'm not even getting into a lot of the other
types of games.
We haven't even delved into that. You know, there's more that involve a lot of thinking. There's some that are just extremely hard to beat. There's some that are very fun and cozy. So I think video games definitely have grown. They have their place. I'm interested to see how they evolve. Like I saw a game the other day. Like I watch a lot of reels of people who play horror games. They're really cheap ones, and some of them are just hilarious because they're so cheaply made, but just what they're doing is so funny, and people are reacting to them. That some games like can kick themselves out of the game because they think you're going too far. They'll like pull up their own menu and like click exit for you, and then some of them will like use your like if you have a cam on, essentially if you blink, your character will blink and something will happen.
That's creepy as heck. See, horror games, they get way too creative. My friend, my roommate Sean, shout out to Sean, great roommate. He was our roommate, I should say. I lived with him, just me, but then we also lived together as well. But Sean used to play this game called Dead by Daylight. That was fun. I'm a little wussy when it comes to scary games, but Dead by Daylight was really cool. But yeah, just I feel like to capitalize on what Gabe said, I think like you're right. There is a lot of negative stereotypes out there. I would say the ones I've heard more is that you're like lazy, or you expect them to be like overweight, or like negative appearance wise to play video games. But I would say like, luckily, I think we're growing up in a time where technology is becoming way more acceptable in some aspects than the younger generations did. I think like our grandparents and part of our parents like had a lot more structure in what they envisioned your future to look like. And I think younger generations are coming up and realizing like we don't have to hold ourselves to such strict standards, but like Gabe said, everything's good in moderation. So like you definitely don't want that to be your personality into it, where that's all you do. That's all, like you don't ever see anything else or do anything else or learn anything else. And so, because it's like with anything, like even if it is your career, like you don't want to do that 24/7. Like you want to have other things going on as well. But I would ultimately just, I think it's just fun. I think at the end of the day, socialization is becoming harder and harder in this day and age because of technology sometimes. And so like if people can get on with their friends or socialize or decompress or like play a game that like just brings them joy, I think like we should run towards more opportunities of happiness than criticize maybe the marginalized community that is negative within the space of video games. I would also say, small caveat, if you're with a partner who rages after a loss in a video game, who throws things, who breaks things over a video game, it's time to leave. It's time to get out. Because it's not that serious. Just not that serious.
It's not.
So that will be all for now. And we will catch you next week.
Bye.